We are talking sports. The 12th man. April is upon us. We apologize we missed the last couple of weeks, but you know, life, liberty, big money Rob, big money JQ,
No.
big money
Hey,
Gary.
listen. No. No, hell no. Only one of us went halfway across the world. One of us.
That's right. Big Buck Rob in the house.
Facts.
Oh yeah.
Facts on facts.
Rob is quiet.
Y'all been eating y'all asparagus?
That's not a thing.
Sure.
Yes, I
That's
have.
not a thing.
Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, anything green?
Oh yeah, I've been eating salad, you know, a little lettuce, romaine, and some lettuce and some, you know, but the asparagus is all you, Playboy.
No, I like asparagus.
Yeah,
We like asparagus.
nothing like grilled asparagus. fella.
We're not in love with it though. We like it. We're not. We don't have an infatuation with it.
Right.
Oh man, y'all don't know what y'all missing. Just asparagus with a smattering of cheese on the side.
Oh jeez.
You can smack,
Oh my goodness.
you can
gracious.
smatter your ass up out of here with that.
Man, what an awesome situation. I don't even know where to start from this, but America, we missed you guys. We wanted to say, man, it is so to be back talking with you guys after an extended period. Let's go around the horn and check in with everybody. I know a lot of things have been happening, but yeah, on this Wednesday, April the 2nd, we are here. Mr. JQ, you've been on fire as always, so we're going to kick it off to you as we normally do. So how are you doing this evening?
I'm good, man. I'm sorry I run late, America. I'm on my phone because I was working the game and it ran into overtime and I had to take pictures because it's the end of the season. So I apologize for that. And I also apologize I won't be here for the next 2 weeks. So I had to make sure I jumped in here with my fellas and have a good time tonight. Make it do what it do.
Let's go.
In New Orleans, beware, JQ's coming to town in a few weeks, man.
Shit, no. Work JQ is a lot different than vacation JQ. This is
Bars in
this
New
is work
Orleans,
JQ.
beware, he's coming.
Listen, I'm gonna actually remember New Orleans this time because I don't remember half of New Orleans from last time. But that's a conversation for another day.
Y'all better have enough alcohol for JQ's coming to town.
Yeah, man. You can work JQ this time though. Just know that.
Man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Rob Ford, Mr. Asparagus, go ahead, my guy.
Hey, man, I'm ready to get this show on the road. I'm up in Boise, Idaho. Had some Idaho
Oh my God.
rainbow trout, man, and it was outstanding tonight. Yeah, so I had some Idaho rainbow trout for the first time up here in Boise, Idaho, man. Good stuff.
I hope you stayed in your hotel room.
I'm in it now.
They
Okay.
shipped that in from the state of Washington.
Idaho rainbow trout, they ship it in from
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah, they shipped that in from Washington. They don't have any trout in Idaho.
I think you're thinking about salmon. They have trout here.
Well, no.
Gary's on it. I love it.
No.
I know. Yeah, listen. I know what they don't have in Boise is black people. So you better keep your ass in the damn room and be cool.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what?
Hey.
No, they do, but only during football season.
Right.
There's a couple.
Yes,
Shout out to my guy
There's
Scott
a few
Davis.
of us here. There's a few of us here.
Scott Davis and Robin Davis. Love me.
600,000 people and counting Rob now. There's 3.
Right.
That's a few.
Good stuff.
There's a few of us. We count us on one hand, but there's a few of us here.
Right.
Let's go. Hey, Gary, I was going to give you the floor, man. You have anything to say besides talking about, the salmon and trout in in Idaho?
No, Idaho's got nothing for me.
Idaho potatoes.
I was born in Idaho.
Really?
I was born in Lewiston, Idaho.
No, you were not.
And so
Were you really?
Yes. And so I've got family all over that state, and It's got 0 for the Schaefers.
Okay.
Anyway,
Right,
Rob,
gotta
hope
move
you had a
out.
wonderful time there. Boise's a fantastic city. Okay, it's okay. Anyway, let's go.
They got a nice downtown area down here, believe it or not. Good restaurant.
What's that?
They got a nice downtown area down here. Good
Yeah,
restaurant.
they do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the only, I think that would be the only city that if I were to go to Idaho again, I would even stop at. I would just drive right through everywhere. Boise's got some nice restaurants, nice downtown area. It's all right. Wouldn't be anywhere I'd go on vacation, but if I was going through there, I might stop for a day.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
There it is.
I don't get enough gas so I can ride right through it. But sure.
There it is. There it is. There it is. We are having some serious
Nick,
fun.
you were
here.
not sugarcoated.
You know what's funny?
I love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So, America, we apologize. We've been catching up. We haven't
seen your boss will send you off tomorrow and send you on a work trip to Idaho.
Shit. I'm a delegate that trip.
Get the biggest laugh out of that.
Funny.
Oh, man,
I might fly. If that were to happen, I would fly to Idaho just to watch his expression getting off the plane. I want to videotape it.
Straight to the hotel.
Oh man.
The sad thing is I've got friends in Idaho. That's definitely on our list to visit. So it's just one of those situations. So, I don't know. It should be fun. We'll see.
It's like going back into time.
I'm planning on going to a Boise State game this fall. I just wanted to go to the game, see the blue football field.
Yeah.
So,
shit, I'm gonna watch it on TV and see it and call it a day.
Wow. He's on fire. All right, let's get this party started here. We've been having too much fun here. Again, trying to get y'all. It's like herding cats here. Let's have some fun here. Let's talk some sports here. We got about 40 minutes to get into this. A lot of topics that Robert's put together as always. Again, follow us on the socials. If you want to check us out, we're on Twitter, X at the number 12, THMEN Sports. We are on Facebook streaming live. You go to facebook.com/talking sports 12 man, or if you put in 12 man sports, you will find us. Rob's been diligently posting videos, all that fun stuff, and posting mock drafts for NFL, all the fun stuff because we're literally in draft season. And last but not least, we are on YouTube, which is at another 12th man sports. So we got a lot of things happening. Let's get this party started, gentlemen. Right off the bat, we're going to talk about some torpedo bats. Jackson Merrill's new 9-year, $135 million deal with the Padres. I can get that out. So Rob, kick it off with that, man, and we'll talk about so far here just screwing up the Braves. But anyway, go ahead, my guy.
Man, actually, the Padres got him for a deal. I mean, in baseball world, 9 years, $135 million, 21-year-old rookie star, right? Obviously going to be there with a while with Fernando Tatis. You got Manny Machado still in that offense. I mean, they're 7-0 starting off the season, the same as the Dodgers right now. They've been outstanding. Yep. So they might be the second best team in their division, but also the second best team in the National League as well, right? So they, as of right now, it's early in the season, but they definitely got Jackson Morrell on a real discount deal, right? And look, they didn't expect this out of Morrell in his first year. What was it, 27th draft pick overall in the draft? Came out of Maryland as a shortstop, and they playing him at center field, right? They didn't expect this. They didn't expect him to have this kind of power with 24 home runs last year as a rookie. So he's been a real pleasant surprise for the San Diego Padres. And, they really don't even miss Juan Soto, right? They traded him away a couple of years ago.
Easy. You still miss Juan Soto. Let's not go.
I'm not saying he's Juan Soto, but I'm saying look at the record right now. They're 7-0, right? And
yes.
So,
well, I mean, 4 of those games, the Braves haven't been, we've been just, cluster.
Yeah. They've still won 2 since then.
Yeah. True. It is what it is, but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
But ultimately, I think the bottom line is the Padres got him for a deal. I mean, when you look at baseball salaries right now, 9 years, $135 million.
Yeah.
And nowhere in the world he should be getting Aaron Judge or Juan Soto kind of money. We know that, but still $135 million for a star in the majors right now. I mean, that's a discount for the Padres. It gives them a lot of flexibility. And obviously they're not one of the big market teams in the league, but it still gives them a lot of flexibility if they want to go out and spend some more money.
Listen, I'm so mad at that because I'm looking at the Reds with Ellie De La Cruz. Like, what are we doing? What? You should have done that 2 years ago with Ellie. So yeah, I listen. 100% is still. It's not as bad as what the Braves got Acuna for, but it's still pretty good. Yeah,
2 years at like 100 million.
7 years for 100 million. Yeah. So it just makes me mad because I'm looking like, why can't we do that and lock up Ellie? But it's a great move for San Diego, and you know the torpedo bats. Like the torpedo bats are wild because the Yankees went nuts and then they struck out 16 times the other day. So it's like, you know, if you want to use the torpedo bats, go for it. But let's not get over the top. If everybody can use it, let's not have all the angst about using it if everybody can have it. It's not only like they're saying the big city teams can use it and the small market can't. Like if you want to use a torpedo bat, you know, knock yourself out. But it's not the end all be all because again, Ellie De La Cruz in that game against the Rangers where they beat the brakes off the Rangers, where he had 2 home runs and 7 RBIs, the Reds ain't scored a run since that game in 2 games. Torpedo bats. So let's pump the brakes.
Yep.
Does it work for them? Yeah, but it's not the end all be all.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees got off to a hot start, but I mean, they won those first 3 games by just destroying the Milwaukee Brewers. But hey, they've lost 2 in a row since.
I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, so and look, every team has access to the torpedo bats. To JQ's point, I think the Braves just ordered some over the weekend. I'm not sure if they got them in place yet, but every team's got access to it, and I think it's you're starting to see it kind of settle down a little bit. But so much talk. Oh, it's the Yankees. They cheating. Major League Baseball is approving it for them, and all. Excuse me, and all of that foolishness, right? But yeah, every team in the league's got access to them. They can use them if they so choose. And to be quite frank, some of the Yankees players are not using them. I mean, Ben Rice is not using them, so it's not like every team, every player on the team is just whoever is comfortable with them.
Agreed.
Maybe it's a placebo effect too.
Maybe a new little twist here. Every team, like you said, every team has access to them, but because it was, you know, the New York Yankees. It's the big news, but I thought, wow, at first they were going at it and now they've settled down and shit. I was hoping we had a secret weapon there for us, but no go for us.
Yeah, we lost 2 in a row now.
Yeah.
But think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it, Gary. It's kind of like what happened was whenever, you know, you kind of came out the gate like just amazingly hot, then you're like, and you got the 2 speedo bats. And you're the Yankees. It was kind of like just
the perfect storm.
Snowball effect. All these things happen. Yeah. Like, what? And then you're like, wow, you know. So that's kind of it was a perfect headline. And maybe it is kind of a placebo effect. Like, you know, you're thinking that you're going to do well because you have the bat, but like you said, I think it is just with anything, it kind of settled down.
Hitting is still timing. Hitting is, you know, that's what it is. It's making contact and it's that timing. So no matter, you know, what bat you're using, if you're that guy that has that timing down, you're going to be successful. If not, you won't.
And that's the tough part because whenever you hate to be controversial, whenever you go back to like, you know, what's going on with, you know, supposedly steroids and everything like that, you still got to hit the ball. I mean, you can still be jacked up, but it's still timing. You know, now granted, I know you got a little advantage because you're a little, you know, jacked up to hit the ball, but you still got to time it and everything.
Well, and I think what helped those guys in that steroid area really was the fact that they recovered faster, or if they didn't get injured when they might have been injured, these sort of things. That's where I think they had an advantage in that steroid era, really, because the timing is really what does it. You know,
you're right.
I mean, look at a guy like Babe Ruth. Did Babe Ruth? You see any of those pictures of him, clips of him? He didn't look athletic at all. That guy looked like he should have been a meat, you know, like a meat cutter or something at a grocery store. You know, he didn't look. He didn't look like an athlete. But here, that guy could go out there and just, you know, crush it because of his timing. Hank Aaron, the same thing. Hank Aaron was one of those guys that
Hank was.
They had
wasn't
perfect swings.
real athletic, but could crush the ball.
Yep, perfect swings. Yep, good stuff. I do wonder about pitching and all that stuff too. Just a different game and different time too. So it looks like we can put an end to all the torpedo bats and all that fun stuff, Rob, if you guys want. If there's anything else you want to talk about before we move on to the mock draft. So anything else y'all want to kind of wrap up with that? Or
I'm
talk about
going to drop real quick and rejoin from my computer. I'm home. So let me back in a second.
Good stuff. All right, good stuff. JQ's going to get set here. And anything else you want to put a bow in that, Rob, with the torpedo bats or anything else? Or I didn't talk about Ben Rice. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing it, And I think Aaron Judge didn't have one, right?
Hey, Rob, I've got one thing for you before JQ gets back on about your NFL mock drafts. I've been following along, and any of your latest ones, have you got any of the teams, moving up or moving down in your mock drafts?
So not in this, not in my most recent one, but the mock before this, I had the Steelers moving up from 21 to 16 to get Jackson Dart. But I don't have anyone moving up or down in this latest mock draft. Yeah. But, there's going to be some movement, obviously. It's kind of hard to predict that with the movement. You're always going to see some teams trading up to the back end of that first round to get somebody who they're still covered in. If there's somebody, especially if somebody falls to that back end of the first round and the team's got a pretty high grade on it, they're going to have some movement, particularly in that back end.
My fear is that Shedeur is going to drop to the Steelers. I don't think they're going to have to move up.
Yeah, and look, you look at a lot of people that are doing mock drafts right now. It's very 50-50 right now. You got some have Shedeur dropping as low as to the Rams at 26, and you got some that still got top 5. I still have them going in the top 5 right now. I still got them going number 3 to the Giants. I know the Giants signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, but those guys are stopgaps. They're not the long-term answer at the quarterback position for those organizations, right? So, it's kind of 50-50 mix here. I still got Shedeur going in the top 5. I know there was some talk, which most teams are saying are not true about Shedeur. Somebody put out a rumor that, he was too cocky and overconfident in meetings, but a lot of organizations coming out and saying just the opposite. They said he's been a joy and a pleasure to meet with. He's been great in the film room. He's been great at answering questions. And, I think people put that label on him just because of who his dad is. Yep. And but most teams that are coming out reporting are saying, hey, just the opposite.
Yeah, well, the only reason why I say that is I don't know what I missed when I dropped off. The only reason why I say I feel like he might drop is because if he gets past the Titans, the Browns, and the Giants, you start looking at the other teams that already have a quarterback. If you get past the Saints at 9, and they like Dart better, or they feel like, hey, I want offensive lineman or defensive player, then you go between that 9 and 21. I think the only team in there that might look at him are the Colts, and then basically that's them admitting defeat on Anthony Richardson. So that's the only reason why I say that. Like, if he gets out of that range, he could be having Aaron Rodgers trying to drop, where those teams in there don't need a quarterback, and they're not going to take him unless somebody goes up to get him. But like, why would you spend capital to go up and get him if he's falling? So that's my fear. I do not want Shedeur to go to the Steelers at all.
Yep. No, I agree with you. If he falls past the 3, he could very well fall all the way to Pittsburgh. I just don't see that just now. As of now, I think the Giants go ahead and pick him. That's just my personal thoughts. We got about today's the 2nd. We got 3 weeks from tomorrow before the draft. So obviously there's still some time for some changes and things of that nature too. But no, I totally agree with you. If he gets past the Giants, he could very well fall all the way to 21.
The thing is also the Saints.
Yeah, I don't think the Saints going to draft a quarterback at 9. I think they may take a flyer on someone, maybe second round or later, but I don't think the Saints going to draft a quarterback in the first round. I know they're doing their homework, but every team does their homework on quarterbacks, even the teams that don't need a quarterback.
Even if he fell to the Saints, you don't think they would take him?
No, I don't think the Saints are going to take him.
Ooh.
I would.
Wow. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Go ahead and do the mock draft, Rob. Go ahead and do
All
the
right,
mock draft,
I'll go
Rob.
over the top 10 really quick, and then I'll go over our teams here. And not a lot of changes with the top 6, really. I still got Cam Ward 1, still got Abdul Carter going to Cleveland, Shadur Sanders, as we just talked about, having gone to the Giants, Travis Hunter to New England, still have Armand Mimbo, offensive lineman from Missouri, going to Jacksonville, still have Genty going to the Raiders. Mason Graham, defensive tackle, have him going to the Jets. Tyler Warren, big tight end from Penn State, having going to Carolina, giving Bryce Young a big target, right? And when you got a short quarterback, the best friend is the tall target at tight end. Your best friend is a strong running game and offensive line, right? So I got to pick Tyler Warren here as well. I know Carolina needs an edge rusher too. I have them giving help to the young quarterback here. I got the Saints taking Jalen Walker, edge rusher from Georgia. I think he's a better fit for Brandon Staley's defense. You know, he probably wants more of a 3-4 defense, and Jalen Walker, I think, gives him a little bit more flexibility in that defense. If this was Dennis Allen picking, I think they would pick Michael Williams from Georgia, but I think a Brandon Staley defense will go with Jalen Walker, the edge from Georgia. And then I have Chicago, the Bears, taking Michael Williams, edge from Georgia. Can't beat the Dennis Allen pick. That's the kind of defensive lineman he likes. The small range of guys that can rush and hold a run on the edge there too. Hopping over to Dallas at 12, I got him taking Will Campbell, offensive lineman from LSU. Obviously, there's some talk of him being kicked inside the guard because of his arm length. But, you know, when you watch this film at LSU, I mean, he was a dominant tackle, and he went against a lot of these guys that are elite pass rushers in his draft. He went against him and held his own, too. So the film shows you that he can play tackle. But I think he'll have the flexibility. The team will have the flexibility to keep him at tackle or move him inside the guard. All right, we'll make the dial back in here. Got the Falcons taking Shamar Stewart, edge rusher from Texas A&M, right? And you're talking about an ultra athletic guy, right? He only had 4.5 sacks in his career, but man, when you look at his athleticism, man, he's got Myles Garrett kind of athleticism, man. He's a freakish athlete, right? It's going to take the right coach getting the right productivity out of him, but from an athleticism standpoint, he's a freakish athlete.
Why only 4 sacks if he's such
scary
an
pick?
athlete?
That's a scary pick.
So what?
Scary pick. Well, he said, "Why don't we force Gary?"
Why only 4 sacks if he's such an athlete?
Yeah.
You know, that's the scary part for me. That's the red flag for me.
That's why he's not going number 1 overall like Myles Garrett did, right? I mean, he's got the athleticism, but you're going to need the right coach to get the productivity out of him, right? And this is about the range he's probably going to get picked in a draft, somewhere between 13 and 20 or something like that. It's about the range probably where it's going to go. At the Bengals, JQ's going to love this pick. Cincinnati, Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan. And Will, at one point, I had him at the top corner in this draft, and he still may wind up being the top corner, you know, on the field, right? You're talking about a guy who has the capability of being a lockdown corner in this league. Right now, I moved J.D. Barron, corner from Texas, slightly ahead of Will, only because J.D.'s got a little bit more flexibility, can play inside, can play outside. Will is mainly just a lockdown on the outside, right?
Cincinnati fans will revolt at that because they tied Dak Seals' ass, and the other Jenkins boy that they drafted didn't do a whole lot this year for him. They drafted another Michigan player. It's going to be a full-blown revolt.
Only by you, JQ.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. I read the Bengals boards, and no, it ain't. They do not want another Michigan player. I'm trying to tell you.
They don't want him. All right. If Will Johnson is there, it's going to be hard pressed for them to pass him up.
Shit. Everybody else passed him up. They can pass him up too.
All right.
I think trying to jinx your teams. First, he went with that edge rusher to Atlanta, and now Michigan guy to you. Oh man, pot stirrer.
Hey, I don't think.
He's the big school line stepper over here.
Man, Andre's been begging for an edge rusher in these mock drafts.
Hey, Rob, we love you, man. We appreciate this, and again, it gives us fodder. But again, all we're saying is that we have some questions because, again, Shamar Stewart, like you said,
oh yeah,
not Shamar Stewart,
no doubt
yeah.
about
So you're like, man, athleticism off the charts, and we got 4 sacks. We'd like to have somebody that has some production. I'm just saying.
Well, as much as I hate Michigan, if he was that guy, I think the other Michigan players that we drafted recently is what clouds that pick for Bengals fans.
Yeah.
Not what his production potentially can be, but it's like, oh my God, here we go again. If he busts again, it's gonna be like, why are we doing this? What are we doing? So that's why I say that.
Yeah. No, I love it.
It's all good. And Will Johnson, and like I said, he's hurt. So you wonder, like, I know there's been a situation where he's kind of hurt, and we were like, man, we didn't think he's going to be at 15. So that's another conversation that, if he's there, the Falcons going to even like make that decision, So it's kind of one of those up and down situations. But we need an edge, and so Raheem Morris was at Mike Green's pro day, just sitting there taking notes. And if I was the Falcons, I would go like, I just keep doubling down, just get everything in free agent, double down, get edge 1, edge 2, edge, and then get a deep, get D tackle. Make sure that you get that because it's hard to get an edge in free agency. So just get as much as you can.
You got Leonard Floyd.
We got Leonard Floyd. I like Leonard Floyd. I like it. And he's motivated. But I'm just saying, you can't do it by himself.
I don't. So, I feel like we've been living off Leonard Floyd's potential since he got in the league.
Yep.
He's had about 8 sacks each year. At least 8 sacks.
He should have 15.
So that's the thing. At least I'm with you on that too. Now agreeing.
I'm not saying I root for the Falcons. The Falcons are the AFC team.
Like,
but I feel like everybody gets stuff themselves in Leonard Floyd, and he ends up with 7 to 8 sacks. You're like, but you watch the game, it was like he should have had 3 more. And he just whatever reason, whatever. Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
No. It's
all good. Keep going, Rob. Now this is great though. We love it.
Yeah. All right. Here's the Dallas Cowboys draft.
Yes, Marcy.
Will Campbell.
Yep.
Second round, I got the Cowboys taking Quinshon Judkins, running back from Ohio State. Gives them a runner and a receiver out of the backfield. JQ's got to love that, right?
Why would I love that?
Huh?
Why would I love that? I would love for him to be a Bengal, but go ahead.
I got y'all taking the running back in the 6th round, so we'll get to the Bengals in a minute here. I got the Cowboys in the 3rd round taking T.J. Sanders, defensive tackle from South Carolina. I think he's a sleeper, by the way.
He is.
Yeah, heck of a ball player. I mean, a lot of production, right? Unlike Shamir Stewart, Sanders didn't maybe test as well in some of the athleticism category, but when you watch him on film, outstanding, right? From T.J. Sanders' standpoint. The Cowboys don't have a 4th round pick. They got 3 5th-rounders. I got them taking Fentrell Cypress II, cornerback from Florida State. Florida State was awful last year, right? But the corners were pretty good. And Fentrell Cypress was actually at Virginia, and he transferred to Florida State. He thought he was going from one bad program to a good program, but he actually went from a bad program to a worse program.
Good for him.
but his production was really
all
good.
About the money.
Yeah. he's got good length, about 6'2". Also in the 5th round, I got the Cowboys taking Jay Higgins, linebacker from Iowa. Another guy who's got a lot of production. Ran a 4.8 40, a little slow there from a linebacker perspective, but definitely he's got the production on the field. And then they have Zy Frazier, another cornerback from Texas San Antonio, 6'3", ran a 4.36 40, right?
Damn.
So the guy's got length, he's got speed. He's obviously at a small school, right? That's why he's going here in the 5th round.
4.36. Yeah,
4.36 40, right? And he's 6'3", right? What you like in it, a lot of those corners get that good arm extension, right? So a guy that could be a sleeper in this draft. And then moving on to the 6th round, Cowboys got a lot of late round picks. They got 3 in the 5th, they got 2 in the 6th, and they got 2 in the 7th. So in the 6th round, I got taking Keandre Lambert-Smith, wide receiver from Auburn. Another guy who's fast, 4.37 40. He's a little light in the pants, though, 6'1", 190 pounds. He's got to get a little stronger, but he's fast. He's got a 4.37 40, but he'll definitely have to bulk up a little bit for the next level. Upton Stout, who's more of a nickel corner / free safety from Western Kentucky, 5'9", 181 pounds, ran a 4.44 40 at Western Kentucky. And then in the 7th round, I got the Cowboys taking Sam Brown Jr., wide receiver from the U. Should like that one, Gary. 6'2", 200 pounds, 4.44 40. Not a lot of production. He tested well. So obviously he's the guy you're taking a flyer on to see what you can get out of him. And then Joshua Gray, offensive tackle from Oregon State, 6'5", 299. And here's another guy, a little small for an offensive tackle, 299 pounds. So you'd like to see him get another 10 or 15 pounds of muscle there, or maybe even 20 pounds of muscle. And that's the reason why he's going in the 7th round. Falcons, we already talked about Shamar Stewart. 2nd round, I got him taken Azariah Thomas, cornerback from Florida State. This is probably the 2nd or 3rd mock I have Falcons taking him in the 2nd round. Like I said, Florida State was not bad on defense, and their corners were really good. And Thomas measured well and also looks good on tape. And in the 4th round, the Falcons on for 3rd. Got him taking J.J. Peaks, defensive tackle from Ole Miss. He's another guy that could be a sleeper, right? 6'3", 310 pounds. Showed up well on tape as well. A guy, he ran like a 4.95 and a 40. No, actually, I think he ran a little over 5.
That Ole Miss defensive line was pretty good.
No, they were. They got 3 guys from that line that's going to get drafted.
Yeah,
3 guys.
Yeah. I like Trey Elmos too from the quarterback though, but keep going. I like Trey Elmos from the
Ole
Miss too, but keep going.
Trey Elmos, he'll be a 2nd round pick too. In the 7th round, I got the Falcons. Nick Martin, linebacker from Oklahoma State, 5'11", 221, ran a 4.53. Ran really well for a linebacker there. 5'11", maybe you want him another inch or 2 taller, but that's the reason why he's going there in the 7th round. And then with the Falcons' other 7th round pick, I got him taking Taj Brooks, running back from Texas Tech, 5'9", 214, ran a 4.52 40. A real strong lower body, right? Breaks a lot of tackles even at his size. At 5'9", can run and catch the ball out of the backfield. The Bengals, Will Johnson.
Hey, Rob.
Michigan.
Really quickly, Rob. Who's the edge rusher that broke all of Bruce Smith's what is he? Sacks at Virginia Tech. I know he's in the draft. I forgot his name off the top of my head.
Veneers Peoples.
Is that him? Yeah. Where do you have him going? Like in the 5th or the 6th round?
I have him going in middle.
I
think he's in 3rd or 4th.
Okay, that's what I'm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I had him targeted too. He broke all of Bruce Smith's sack records. I'm like, what? Virginia Tech? Like, what's keeping out of that dude, man? He's only like 6'2" or something like that, but like freaky athlete, man. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. And the Bengals in the 2nd round, I got him taking Shamar Turner, defensive tackle from Texas A&M. Another guy who's really good production at the defensive tackle position. Didn't test as well. I think it was like a 4.9 on a 40-point standpoint. But at the defensive tackle, I mean, you would like him to be closer to that 4.8 range.
Yeah.
Shamar Turner had solid production at Texas A&M. In the 3rd round, I'm going to take Gunnar Helm, a tight end from Texas, right, to give Joe Burrow another target down the middle of the field, give them a weapon there. In the 4th round, I got him taking Jamon Dumas Johnson, linebacker from Kentucky, 6'1", 238. He's a thumper, right? A guy that probably could possibly even start or be a key player on special teams.
Replace Pratt.
Yeah. And then in the 5th round, you got Jonas Sinker, safety from Virginia. 6 feet, 206 pounds, ran a 4.48, so he really ran well at the combine. And then in the 6th round, Kyle Monaghay, running back from Rutgers, 5'8", 211, ran a 4.6 in the 40. Not the 40 time you want, but when you watch him on film, he's another guy who's got a strong lower body and breaks a lot of tackles, right?
Sounds like Pacheco.
Yeah.
Rutgers.
Yeah. Pacheco, yeah. Yep. Then my beloved Saints, we talked about Jelon Walker. We got Benjamin Morrison, cornerback from Notre Dame in the 2nd round. He's a guy that was thought of at one point to be a 1st-round pick. Obviously, he's coming off a major injury. One of the reasons why he drops. But when you look at him on film a couple of years ago, he held his own against Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State, right? So when you watch that film, that's the thing pro scouts are going to get excited about. Third round, Carson Schlesinger, linebacker from UCLA. Here's a guy a lot of teams, some scouts haven't even gone late in the first round now, right? So he's a guy that can do everything from the linebacker position, rush the passer, drop in coverage, a versatile piece that some teams are definitely going to be pretty high on. Saints got 2 third-round picks. Got him taking Jack Besh, wide receiver from TCU. He's a guy that just catches the football, right? Not blazing, but he had a great Senior Bowl. He started his career at LSU, Louisiana kid. Wasn't getting on the field, so he transferred to TCU. Did a phenomenal job there. Was really impressive at the Senior Bowl. But all he does is catch the ball. He'll move the chains.
Shit, I want a wide receiver from TCU.
Where do you want him from?
Not
LSU?
TCU. Ohio State, LSU, that shit. Not TCU. Sorry, my bad. Go ahead. I don't mean to disrupt.
Come on.
Oh man, we'll give you Arian Smith from Georgia then, JQ.
You know, listen, I don't want anybody from Georgia either. They can't catch a cold in Georgia. Shit, just.
Arian Smith might be the fastest receiver in the draft, but yeah, he can't catch the ball.
Well, that's kind of a key.
Yep.
That sounds like man. There's a couple of Raiders players that I think Al Davis like he can run, he can't catch. That's okay, he can run.
Al Davis is all about speed.
Like Al Davis
Speed.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, that's all he cared about.
All right, in the fourth round, I got the Saints taking Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle from Maryland. Man, he's a guy who was impressive at the combine, man, but 0 sacks in his career at defensive tackle, right? Solid run stuffer. You'd like to see him get a little bit more from pass rushing, but he was very impressive at the combine. Saints take a flyer on him in the fourth round. Xavier Truss, offensive lineman from Georgia. Saints take him over the second. Versatile guy that can play tackle or guard. Saints don't have a fifth rounder. And the sixth, they take Garrett Dillinger, offensive guard from LSU. The Saints rarely draft players from LSU. But here, say what?
John Dillinger's cousin. I'm just joking.
Wow.
But Garrett Dillinger,
guard,
solid career, started a lot. Got him going to the 6th round. The Saints in the 7th round got 2 picks. Take Keaton Crawford, safety from Nevada. Started his career in Texas. Transferred to Nevada. Had a really solid 5th year there at Nevada. And then with his 7th round pick, Teddy Buchanan, linebacker from Cal, out on the West Coast. And so that's there you have it for our teams. That's a lot. I need some water now.
I know it is. If my linebacker don't come from east of the Mississippi, I don't want him.
Well, Jamon Dumas Johnson, he's from Kentucky, so it's close. That's east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just gonna put it out there. I mean, you know, you talked about the one dude ran a 4.8. Man, he can't guard a tight end. You better play middle linebacker and sub his ass out on 3rd down. Or the tight end's gonna bring his ass out over the middle of the field.
He'll be strictly a 1st or 2nd down linebacker in the NFL.
Yes, sir. You better have some timeouts or have him standing right next to the sideline so he can come out. Yeah. If I see his 4.8 ass out there playing, I'm gonna put my tight end all over him one-on-one. We're gonna tear his ass a new asshole across that middle. 4.8.
That's what he ran. 4.8.
Wow.
You run a 4.8, I'm gonna put my tight end on you. If I got
good on film, yeah. He'll be a 1st and 2nd down linebacker in the NFL. I mean, he won't be.
It was a rough 40.
I say rough.
It was a rough 40.
40. I'm sitting here like this. Barbecue chicken. Put my tight end on your side, baby, and spread you out and kill you in coverage on 3rd down. You better get him off the field, coach.
That's why he's going to be a middle linebacker and not an edge or
that's what I'm saying.
Mike linebacker.
Yes, hey, 43 is the mic. 43 is the mic. Sorry.
43. Hey, Gary, are you happy with what Rob has projected for the Cowboys? And then is Dak Prescott on the hot seat, and then is Micah Parsons getting traded? I 3 questions for you, so there you go.
And he hits you with a lot, Gary.
Wow. No, Micah Parsons isn't. No, Micah Parsons isn't getting traded. Unfortunately, Dak Prescott is not on the hot seat, but I have him on my hot seat. What's your other question?
Okay. Just if you were happy with the draft.
Well, you know what? Yeah, if the Cowboys go and they get a big offensive lineman in the 1st round, they need offensive line help. So they get a good running back in the 2nd round. they need a running back. Wide receiver in the 3rd round. Those are all good picks. Then you got cornerbacks and another wide receiver, the last pick is an offensive tackle. I mean, yeah, I'm okay with that. What I'd like to see, though, actually, is I saw an interesting scenario for the Cowboys today, and it had them trade back to the 14th pick, give Indiana the 14th pick. They picked up a couple of picks, and then they again traded back to the 22nd pick, and and picked up some more, 3rd and 4th round pick along with their pick. And they ended up getting 12 picks, and they ended up getting that Hampton running back out of North Carolina.
At
22nd. I liked that.
Great pick.
And they ended up with, I think, 13 picks. And I thought that if you get a chance to take a look at that, I really liked that.
Why don't you give us some picks, Gary? That's too many picks.
No, man. But I mean, when you have to pay CD and pay Dak, and you have to pay Micah, picking up the picks and getting cheap labor makes the most sense. I don't understand why Amari Hampton. I don't know what more Travion Henderson has to do to be the 2nd running back in this class. I know I'm biased, but you watched him put on a show in these playoffs this year, and I was I don't understand what a whole show. Like, how do you have Henderson rated higher than him? Listen, I know I'm biased, but I watched him put on the show, and I don't understand.
Just a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, Gary. Good stuff. Yeah, I guess you just need so Gary. So we're gonna kind of get back to that, Rob, because at this juncture, it feels like it's a pretty heavy defensive draft. So if you're looking for defense this year, now is the time to kind of make that happen. I don't think it's as deep at cornerback. I don't think it's deep with wide receivers, but defense, maybe some tackles. So we could talk about some top defensive players in the draft, Rob.
Okay.
And then we can kind of talk about, anything about Trey. I guess we can talk about Trey Hendrickson from UJQ and everything like that.
Hey, real quick, look like Marcy's got a question from, I guess, Andre and Jake. Before I get into what Andre was just talking about, look like Marcy's got a question for you guys. Is Raheem out if the Falcons don't make the playoffs this year?
Listen, I answered the question.
We said it.
I said, yep.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I said, yeah, I saw it. I said, yep, Marcy, 100%. But you can't do
that. Yeah. He said it.
I said, yep. Because
he said it. And for Marcy, she'll hear me talking about this all day long. So, again, but JQ said it real quick. If we're 7-9, yeah, he's gone. 6 and
they played 17.
Yeah, we got to be like,
Drake.
Yeah.
This is the 2nd time through.
Huh?
They play 17 games now.
I know. I forgot that. I know.
But the problem is, this is the 2nd time through now, right? So you waited and y'all messed up the Kirk Cousins situation with his injury, and you didn't disclose it, and you waited too long to go to Penix when he could really have an option to. Listen, they failed down the stretch last year, and that goes to it. Like, if you didn't handle the injury situation, and I remember Raheem Morris being on the pivot, and they challenged him on talking about who were going to be impactful defensive players on his team. And he was hyping up dudes, and they went out there, and they got their doors blown off, right? So if you come back next year, listen, it's a winnable division. I give Tampa their credit. They got a good quarterback. They got 2 good wide receivers. But still, if you ask a bunch of people who are fans, like the rest of us on here, Gary's ass got to deal with dangerous-ass Philadelphia and now Washington in the NFC East. I got to deal with the damn Ravens and the Steelers that the Browns ever get a damn quarterback to go with that defense, they're a problem. If you ask people, they want to be in the AFC South and the NFC South. You're in a winnable division. If you go out there and you mess it up again, on your 2nd time through,
yeah.
I guess y'all just answered Marcy's question. She said why.
I saw it. That's why.
Like I said, I think, we think we're saying that if you're 6-11 and you're 7-10, get those games correctly, then yes, there's going to be the whole staff. You're gone. 8-9, you're going to have some questions. 9-8 is where you need to be. Make the playoffs. 10-7 is preferred. At this juncture, unfortunately, if that happens and you think you got the quarterback, and I know that we're hoping that we got the defense, that's why you got to go all in defense, because our offense was top 6, believe it or not. I know that's hard to believe, That's even with having what Kirk Cousins in, and obviously what Penix did in the last couple of games of the season. But it's just
Well, let me be a devil advocate here.
plus.
We'll tell you what you guys are saying, right? Arthur Smith got 3 years in Atlanta, and I think all 3 years he was 7-10. Am I correct?
That is correct.
So if Raheem Morris gets the 2 years, last year was 8-9. Let's say this year he's 7-10 or 8-9 again. Why does he get fired after 2 years and Arthur Smith got a third year?
Yo, listen, stop asking questions you know the answer to.
Yeah, you know why.
Stop asking questions you know the answer to. Plus,
and then.
But wait a minute, you had a chance. You didn't have a chance, but Tampa won that last game, right? Like, but you needed to beat Carolina. You let Bryce Young come into your backyard and go completely haywire on you to where it didn't even matter if Tampa lost that game to New Orleans. Bryce Young had like 4 or 5 touchdown passes. He went nuts on Atlanta in that week 18 game. Nuts.
Yeah. Wasn't that his best game of the year?
Again, when you had the division locked up for the first 8 weeks, and you let Bryce Young, who got benched, come back and go batshit on you in the bins. Like, you can't let that happen again.
There's no excuse. No excuse for that.
Yeah.
So, and that's why, that's why you fired Jimmy Lake. That's why everything happened. That's why you had, Jeff Ober coming back. I mean, that's why you're doing all it's and it's tough because
I can see
you said coming in
13. He gets fired, but
go ahead, Rob.
I can see if the Falcons
I'm with you.
12-4-13, then he's out. There's no question about it. But to me, if he's tweeting close to 800, I think 800. I'm sorry, 500.
800. Shit, if he 800, he get a contract extension.
Yeah.
It's a big box now.
To me, if he's close to,
they said Terry Pano's had like 5 years of like losing, only 5 years of like
more year.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I'm not saying you're wrong. The manner in which they fell off a cliff last year, and if they had that same problem again in a winnable division, where everybody's talking about like this is a winnable division and you don't capitalize on it, because me and Gary looking at each other like, man, I wish I would get into the playoffs at 9-8, or saying 10-7 or whatever it is. Like,
so the Bengals were 9-8 last year.
But that's what I'm saying. But we didn't make it, and that's the point. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you have that division that's winnable to get in, the NFC to get in is like the 6th or 7th seed, and the fans are looking at that like, come on, bro. Like, you was winning, and then you fell off a cliff, and you fall off a cliff with another bad year. Listen, I'm not rooting against him, but I'm just saying that's a tough.
I'm rooting against him.
You are. And that's okay.
Something like that.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look whenever you said we were just a quarterback away, and you got the quarterback. You went all in, gave him the quarterback. You drafted Penix, and we're still, lucky about that. But just everything just kind of went. It's not what the defense. It was a cluster, man. Everything went wrong. The only bright spot is Michael Penix, and obviously Bijan and Drake London, whatever. But it's like you're like, what the hell happened with that?
Mm-hmm.
You talk about Kirk Cousins, the drama we got. It's just not a good off season right now. So
right to Cleveland.
I still don't think Kirk's going to be with the Falcons when the season starts. I mean, Raheem has already said he's not going to be at OTAs. They don't expect him at OTAs. I can't see him. I definitely see him going to a team like Cleveland. Like that.
And I hope that Lake effect and that wind coming off that lake busts his ass.
Let's go. We got to get something for him. JQ. Give me like Greg Newsome quarterback.
Listen, I hope Cleveland give you a whole bunch for him, and he go out there and suck ass, so I can watch him just be terrible and destroy their draft. I'm all for all of those things. Yes.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna get. He's waiting until after the draft, so they don't do like what happened with Atlanta. He's like, don't trade me until I'll make sure that you guys don't draft Shador Sanders.
That's why Cleveland's not going to draft a quarterback. They're going to draft Abdul Carter. That's already in the works for them to trade for Kirk Cousins.
They can have Abdul Carter. I watched him.
Rob, I hope so.
Listen,
I hope to God that happens.
I'm sorry. Can we talk about this Abdul Carter thing? Like, I'm not saying he's not good.
You said this before.
But I watched him for being drafted that high. opportunities where Penn State was in a tight game, where if he had come across the edge and made a big play and gave them a short field where they could have won a big game, we could talk about James Franklin and his sorry ass coaching. That's fine. But to talk about him in this manner, where I watched him go for plays upon plays and be a no-show. Not that he didn't have good games, but when the money was on the line, they're in the fourth quarter in a one-possession game, and he could have turned the tide. He didn't turn the tide. And we talk about him being generational. I'm like, what? Am I the only person watching Big Ten football? Because I don't see that.
Well, I wouldn't put the generational comment behind him, but obviously
I've heard that behind him, and I didn't know why.
Right, and he's got Michael Parsons kind of talent, right? And here's the thing with Abdul Carter. If you watch the college football playoffs, he was outstanding. He was flat out outstanding in the college football playoffs.
I watched Notre Dame walk them down and take the lead on them.
Yeah.
Where was he? Generational number 2 pick in the draft. Where was he in terms of keeping them from taking the lead and keeping Notre Dame from advancing?
Yeah, you can't expect him to make every play. Teams run the other way. They run away from him sometimes.
Shit, you over the second pick in the draft. You better make some plays.
Yeah, he
was nowhere to be found.
That's where he was at. In the college football playoffs and the games that they played.
They got their ass sent home in a close game.
Yeah, they didn't win it, but the games that he played, I mean, he played 3 college football playoffs, and he was outstanding in all 3 of those games.
And they got sent home.
They didn't win. Other teams that were outstanding in the playoffs too, man. Cam Scatterbull was outstanding in the college football playoffs. He got sent home too, right?
But you know what? He ain't Cam Scatterbull. You know what? But Cam Scatterbull ain't going number 2 in the draft. Cam Scatterbull in the 3rd round.
You're not being realistic, JQ. What Abdul Carter?
You're right about
Jerry. Does Michael Parsons make every play? Right? Michael Parsons is outstanding, but he's not going to always lead the Cowboys to victory Sunday after Sunday.
Sorry, where did Michael Parsons get drafted in the 1st round?
Number 11.
Number 11. Not
Miles
number
Garrett,
2.
Number 1 overall. We all agree that he's probably the best defensive end in the league. And where did Cleveland end up? Cleveland's got number 2 pick in the draft, and they might have the best edge rusher in the league right now. The guy can't do it all.
Listen, but the NFL is different. The Cleveland's a dumpster fire. So you just have to take that and just push that
Why
to
you
the
keep
side.
making excuses for these other guys and you ain't making excuses for Abdul Carter?
I'm not making an excuse for him, but Michael Parsons went to 11. Like, if you're going to tell me Abdul Carter's going to go 11, cool. But number 2, when I watched him for 3 years, I'm talking about moments, impactful plays. I'm not saying he's bad. I think Abdul Carter is a very, very, very good player. But to go number 2, and I've heard the same thing Gary's heard about him being generational. I watched Penn State have a team just drive down the field and take the.
No, I said I wouldn't necessarily call him.
I'm like, well,
not saying I disagree. Y'all heard that, but hey, look, I mean, edge rushers. When you look at football, your top positions: quarterback, artificially rise, right?
Yep.
Edge rushers, corners, left tackles. These are your most important positions in football, right? They're gonna go higher than probably what you think, right? And I mean, look who's going, and you can put wide receivers in that category now. I think wide receivers have elevated into that top 5 position in football right now, right? I mean, you look at this mock draft here. You got 2 quarterbacks, you got an edge rusher, you got a corner, and you got an offensive tackle. Those are your most important positions in football, right? That's what's going to go high. You're not seeing linebackers go this high in the draft anymore, right?
Yeah, no, as they shouldn't.
You're not seeing safeties go this high in the draft anymore.
I got you. If he goes to the NFL, I will get back on this podcast and say I was wrong. I'm just saying, as a Big Ten follower, I have watched Penn State play and be in nip and tuck games where he had an opportunity to turn the tide, being the so-called generational player, and he didn't do it.
Yeah. No, I'm not arguing with you there, but what I am arguing on, he was outstanding in the college football playoff.
He can be outstanding as the number 12 pick. I wouldn't take a number 2, but we can move on.
Oh man.
Wow.
I guess that's why we're sitting here and we're not in the talent evaluator room, right?
Listen, I told you I could be a GM. I've owned it. I'm like, I wouldn't pay that dude that kind of money. What? Not at all.
Well, you know, Rob, I gotta say this though, with the knowledge that you guys have with this, as I watch all these sports programs, they got nothing on you guys, except they've got staffs that do all their shit. They're just reading shit. they've got teleprompters that are saying you guys are shooting it right off the top of your head. And as far as I'm concerned, any one of you three guys could be on ESPN doing exactly what they're doing, or the NFL channel, and you're not even doing it with a teleprompter.
I'm too wild. They won't let me on there. I would have to do it for like serious.
Well, you'd have to probably go on some sort of a we'd start some sort of a pay-per-view thing for you.
JQ would have to go on HBO or somewhere, right?
Yeah, I got to go like Sirius XM.
Well, that's very kind of you.
No, but it's too. I mean, I watch these guys.
Agrees with you, Gary, too.
No, I watch these guys, and I hear them talking, and I know they've got their staffs and they've got everything all lined up for them, and you guys will go through your stuff or whatever, but most of the stuff that you guys are talking about and just off the wall questions, you guys have got the answers right off the top of your head. And I think if you put a lot of those sports commentators that we see on TV in that same thing without somebody putting it up on the screen for them, they would fail miserably.
Gary, you're also in that boat. And it's the thing about we talk about it. And I mean, I know we kind of digress. It's the underwear Olympics when you go to the combine and you forget the games that you watched, right? Like, yes, they measure, they run, they jump. That's great. But you watch them be tired in the third or fourth quarter, momentum going against them. What do you do in that situation? And people forget that what they saw, and they just be caught in the present moment. And it's like, well, you've seen 3 years of these dudes go through this process. So don't forget the game tape that you've seen with your own eyes. I think that's where we're speaking from, is that we get on here every week, but all of us are big fans. We sit there on our phones or in front of the TV on a Saturday and weekend or on Sundays for the NFL and watching. It's like, well, and that's how I feel about Abdul Carter, because I was like, I watched a lot of Penn State football, and they get right there, but he's had moments that he could have made them be something bigger and better than they were, and he never, to me, he never delivered on that.
And that's fair. And here's the thing we got to look at, too, when you look at these edge rushers in this draft, JQ. Abdul Carter, Jalen Walker, Mikael Williams. Who's the other guy?
Pierce from Tennessee,
who we just talked about, right?
Pierce from Tennessee.
Pierce from Tennessee, which I have going late in the first round now.
Please don't go to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's going to be an edge rusher to go in the top 5.
Well, that's true. That's
I just need those edge rushers I just named. Which one of them you going to put over Abdul Carter? None of them. Jalen Walker, he's got potential. Mikael Williams didn't stay healthy his last year at Georgia, right?
James Pierce is crazy.
Shamar Stewart is freakish athleticism, as we just talked about. Only 4.5 sacks.
With no production. Yep.
Abdul Carter had more than 4.5 sacks in his 3 playoff games.
I mean, listen, I guess I get it. I'm too close to it because I watch a lot of Big Ten football. And that's like, I don't, number 2 though. Like when you
break them down against these other edge rushers, can't argue.
I need a quarterback. I mean, to your point,
they not going to draft a quarterback.
But this is what.
Oh shit! Because that's the answer.
This is the thing. But this is the thing. This is the thing. I think what JQ is trying to say is that he's a talented player, but not at number 2. That's what we're saying. Like,
but go back and look at every draft, right?
You gotta be like Bruce Smith or like.
Go back and look at every draft, right? You're going to have an edge rusher to go in the top 5, and if you're going to have an edge rusher to go in the top 5 of this draft, who's it going to be?
Number 2.
Who's it going to be?
Yeah.
It's going to be Abdul Carter. He's got the best production out of any of these guys I just named.
If I was Cleveland, I would draft Jackson Dart. I'm playing. It's a joke. I wouldn't do that. That's just
Rob. Mike Green had 17 sacks this season. Wasn't he the NFL? Was he the NCAA leader in sacks?
He was a Marshall
over Abdul Carter.
So I mean, you got to look at the level of competition, too.
Right?
But I do have Mike Green going 30.
I see that as well. But I'm just saying, like, that dude had production. So we're talking about what Gary's talking about and what JQ's talking about. Because again, we talk about we can talk about Buffalo and Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack went to Buffalo and he still was a great player. So we can go.
You're gonna pick. You comfortable taking Mike Green in the top 5?
I don't want to take any of them in the top 5.
It's all about production. It's all about, but I hear you. I mean, we can argue either way. That's the beautiful thing about this.
That's
and
what
it's
makes
a
the show
crapshoot,
great,
right? And
that's
Underworld,
what makes the show great. We all put
all that
our
fun stuff
out there.
Yeah.
You
And
want to
listen,
get guys who.
listen, Abdul Carter. If you go out there and you wreck shop, hopefully it ain't for fucking Cleveland. Go to the Giants and do that shit. But if you go out there and you do that, I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna say I was wrong.
All I'm gonna say is this: the Bengals better show up that offensive line with Abdul Carter and Miles Garrett coming.
And listen, who are you talking about? They better change some shit at 17 if they see that happening too.
The Joe Burrows better get that quick release ready. I'm telling you.
Hey, I'm down in the room. I don't care who you was talking about drafting. If you ain't getting the tackle or guard, then you doing the wrong thing.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
That's where they're. And then they got to get to. And then
Gary.
with the Bengals, let's get off to a decent start.
Well, listen. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. I'm trying to get my hopes crushed in the first week of in the weeks of September. Everybody, hey, what's up with your boys? Like, yeah, I don't want to do that no more. So
yeah. Well, you had the Buckeyes win the national championship. I know we like to have our cake and icing on top, cake and eat it, or whatever the saying is, right?
Cake and eat it too. And I want a side of ice cream. I want all of that shit, Rob. I want all of it.
I do too. But sometimes you got to be grateful for the one that you did.
I want it all.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I want to talk about
what you said, Gary.
I know y'all were talking about the running backs a little while ago before I get into the top 10 defensive players. So when you look at Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson and Omari and Hampton, man, I really think those guys are 2A, 2B, and 2C. They all three of them are really close. So it's going to be real interesting to see, in my opinion, to see which one goes second. I mean, right now I do have Omari and Hampton going second. But to me, they're 2A, 2B, and 2C. It's going to be real interesting, in my opinion. I mean, we all know Genty is going number 1 overall. There's no doubt about it, right? I got him going number 6 to the Raiders. But those three guys are so close. So it's going to be real interesting to see how teams draft them in a draft. So that's going to be one of the more intriguing things for me to watch in the draft.
I got it. I love how you do that on the heels of saying, oh, Green, he played in Marshall. Look at the level of competition. What nobody doing that in the ACC for Omari Hampton? What nobody doing it? What? I don't even know what league the Boise State is in right now. So we're gonna talk about the Buckeyes playing in the Big Ten, what you saw them do in the playoffs against 2 dudes that were sitting there playing against the 5 of us. And stop it. I just it can't be both ways. We can't talk about Willie Green not being in the top 5 because he played in Marshall.
Mike Green, he's going to compare the ACC with the league that Marshall plays in?
What the hell is the ACC doing in football right now? To do what? Who? Wake Forest?
2 teams in the playoffs, at least.
Oh, listen, stop, man. If y'all
Clemson and SMU.
And you saw what happened to SMU, didn't you?
They made it.
Shit.
They made it.
Yeah.
You can't compare that.
Just to get their doors blown off.
Yeah, you can't compare the ACs. Marshall, I don't even know what league they in. With the
I don't know what league Boise State is in. The West Coast Conference, the Mountain West, whatever.
Buffalo, like it talks about players because can keep.
I'm always saying that because of what he just said about Green. Compared
to some good players coming out of these small schools, right? I mean, you are right, but you're not going to see a lot of them go on the top of the draft.
You understand that?
Ashton Genty.
We're talking about production and everything.
Ashton Genty at least played against some high level competition 2, 3, 4 games a year and put up some production, right? So you got that film to go off of. We don't quite have that with Marshall. Now, Mike Green could be a stud in this draft, right? You're going to have some of these guys, some of these small school guys. David Walker from Central Arkansas, right? Guy, a lot of sack production, right? And who I think could be a sleeper in this draft, right? But he's not going to go in the first, second, or third round. Maybe the third. He might sneak up into the third. But he's a guy that could be a sleeper in this draft, right? You're going to find some guys from these small schools to be productive. I mean,
I know. I'm just saying. We say that about Green, and then we say the other thing about Genty and Amari Hampton. I'm like, in my first, okay. It's okay. Go ahead. Let's go to the other topic.
Top 10 defensive players. JQ's favorite player, Abdul Carter. Number 1. I'm sure he would love to have him with the Bengals, by the way.
100%. At 17.
At 17,
If he was picking in the top 5, you probably love to take him too.
No, I wouldn't.
Travis Hunter, number 2.
Fucking boys.
Mason Graham, 3. Jalen Walker, 4. Markel Williams, number 5. Number 6, a guy that's climbing in the draft, Jahad Campbell from Alabama. And another guy who's real thick, but he also shown a lot of production rushing the passer. He really timed well in a lot of his workouts, pro days, and combine. I got him all the way up to number 11, San Francisco right now. San Francisco lost a lot of defensive players in free agency right now.
Yeah.
So Jahad Campbell, look out for him. He could be a sleeper. Jahdae Barron, who we talked about, I got him going number 14, Indianapolis. Got Shamar Stewart, number 8. Will Johnson, 9. And Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle from Michigan, number 10. Got him going to Seattle at 18.
As long as he don't go to Cincinnati at 17. Jesus.
I did mock him to Cincinnati in one mock.
I know you did. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, that's
Anyway.
good.
Yeah. We've had a pretty engaging show. We appreciate everyone putting up with America. This is us coming back. And, Gary, we appreciate your compliments. And same for you, man. Everyone adds a little flair, a little flavor to the show, which makes it definitely fun. Love the jersey, too, by the way, Gary. So we got to keep this going. I didn't want to stay too much longer because I know you guys probably have things to do. I know we want to wrap up some last stuff. Rob, I don't know if you want to talk about the defensive players or kind of pick a topic. I know Marcy, she always watches. I appreciate you, babe, for taking
Appreciate you, Marcy.
for putting up with this. Yeah, so shout out to Steph Curry with 52 points, 12 3-pointers. He passes Jerry West for 25th on the NBA all-time scoring list, and just a record-breaking night. He also joined the top 25 scorers in NBA history. He joined the top 25 scorers in NBA history with Reggie Miller, obviously, and then Alex English, Vince Carter, Kevin Garnett, and Russell Westbrook ran out the 20 to 25 group too, man. So just what a special situation for Steph, and he has those nights too. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well.
I mean, that Denver Timberwolves game last night was unreal.
It was excellent.
That was outstanding.
61 points.
And it lost.
61 points.
Russell Westbrook just out
And
here
a triple
falling at the
double.
rim. That's just hilarious. Because FM.
Yeah.
We cannot get off the show and not give Final Four predictions.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was about ready to bring up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm done after that, but like we kind of have to talk about that, don't we?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know who wants to go first.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, I know I picked Florida to win it all before the tournament. And
don't you do it. Man. Don't you say it. Don't you say it.
Rob.
Don't you say
it. Is he going to say Duke?
Yes.
Is he going to say Duke?
Don't you bet not.
Rob is going to
you bet not.
Let me tell you something.
Your mind.
I think Duke and Houston, I think both of these games are going to be heck of a games. I really do. Houston got a bunch of dogs on that team. They're going to come off that bus like, woo, 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 woo.
Wow.
Kelvin Sampson doing it.
Yeah. They got a bunch of dogs on that team, man. They defend. They will pick your pocket like you're in a London subway, and they will turn you over in a heartbeat. And look, they don't have the NBA prospects that L.J. Cryer is about the only guy I have gone drafted out of the Houston team right now, right? But, man, they got a bunch of guys on there that are just straight-up dogs. And I would love to see them beat Duke this coming weekend. I think it's going to be a close game. I know Houston blew out Tennessee, and I know Duke blew out. I can't even remember who they blew out this past week. Both of those games. Oh, Alabama they blew out. Yeah. I think that's going to be a heck of a game. And I know I picked Florida. Man, I'm worried about them beating Auburn.
No, you ain't.
I didn't. Auburn, they struggled at the end of the regular season, right? I didn't even think they would make it to the Final Four. I mean, they lost 3 out of the last 4 games coming into the tournament. But I like what I saw out of them against Michigan State. I mean, they got a lot of length on their team. Well, hey, what the heck? I'm going to stick with Florida. I picked them at the start of the tournament.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Florida and Duke in the championship game with Florida winning.
That's what I was waiting on because I thought you was going to say that nonsense. You wanted to.
Hey, I wanted to be Florida and Houston, even though I picked Duke because I want Houston to win.
Listen,
to be honest with you, I want Houston to win it all. That's what I'm pulling for.
Well, shit. Well, true. Mm-hmm. True. But I think Florida's shooting the problem.
Assistant coaches.
Yeah. The problem, well, that's because you're homer ass. I think Florida's shooting and toughness. I don't trust Auburn shooting, and I don't trust that Broom is really fully healthy. I think adrenaline helped.
Yeah, that's
when he got hurt. I'll look to see when the adrenaline wears off. I know he's gonna give him all the treatment in the world, but what does he look like coming back into that? Walsh just to shoot that rocket. He just refused to let them lose that game. And I think that's where Florida just is on such a roll, playing good basketball. That Duke Houston game, I can see Houston winning that game. I can, but then again, I feel like Kelvin Sampson's gonna pull a Kelvin Sampson and find a way to lose that game.
Stop talking about him, man.
Listen. Until he win it all, I don't believe. So I'm gonna go Florida Duke, and I'm gonna pick Florida as well.
I'm pulling for Houston though. That's what I really want to see winning.
Listen, Kelvin Sampson gonna pull a Kelvin Sampson on you.
That's who I have.
Like John Calipari pulled a John Calipari up 16 points in the second half and blew it.
I need them dogs coming off that bus barking, ready to play.
I love the tenaciousness, but
they're not gonna beat Duke, and Duke and Florida in the finals. And
don't you do it?
I've picked Florida. So I'm sticking with them.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a really good game.
You got to pick Florida. He lives in Ocala.
Listen, I
Gainesville.
I heard some trepidation in his voice.
Well, I think it's going to be a really good game.
I do too. I really do. I think we get two good. I think we get two good games. The one I think might end up being a blowout is Florida and Auburn, only because I don't know if Broom's legs responds in this week. Yeah. We're assuming because he came back, but adrenaline is the main thing. If it tightens up, it stiffens up, that thing bent backwards, and he's not ready to play, Florida could blow Auburn out if he's not ready to play.
Yeah, Florida, one of the things that might actually help them, they were actually tested in their last two games.
Yeah.
We saw they had to really come back, and they were down 10 with under 4 minutes to go against Texas Tech.
Yeah.
So they were, and every team that wins a championship in the NCAA tournament, I'll take that back. UConn last couple of years, man, they were dump trucking people.
Well, and UNLV.
But typically, that UNLV team, you're right. I mean, they beat Duke by 30 in the championship game.
Right.
Typically, every year in the NCAA tournament, the team that wins it all has at least 1 or 2 games that they're tested, right? And it's about surviving in advance, and sometimes it's about matchups. Sometimes you come up against a team that just matches up well with you, right? And so Florida's been tested these last 2 games, so that actually might help them coming into this Final Four round. They got good shooting, as we know with Clayton, right? And Hall, who can also shoot the rock as well. And they got size. I mean, they got a lot of size on that team.
And they just believe that they can win. Mm-hmm. Even if they're down, they believe they can win. That's huge.
Yep.
But to me, you talked about it. Those 2 guys they're shooting the ability and their belief in that shooting and the size. They're not a one-trick pony. Like you said, they have size that can dump it down, but they have 2 guys that says, hey, I put you on my back, we're going to shoot this rock.
Yep. And they're rebounding. I mean, they are offensive rebounding. They add second and third shots because of their offensive rebounding ability. They box out on a defensive end. They're going to be a hard team to out-rebound in this tournament, right? Because of their size and what they're doing on offensive glass and what they're doing on defensive glass too. So that, if Broom is healthy, he could probably contend with them on the boards. But to Jake Hughes' point, if he's not, and that's still a big question mark coming into this game.
He's got to be 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that leg.
Now look, Duke's got the most NBA players of any of these 4 teams, right? I mean, they probably got 3 guys that's going to go in the top 10 in the draft, but they're all freshmen, right? And so how does that translate from an experience standpoint? Now, Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, they look unfazed. I mean, they look like veterans out there in the court. And,
what's going to happen, Kelvin Sampson?
The dogs don't come out there barking.
He gonna do something wild, put somebody on the bench that he shouldn't, or not be willing to gamble with somebody with 2 fouls and watch the dude go on a run and not call a timeout and put that dude back in. Save him for what? Coaches kill me with that. The season is on the line. You better play this guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's win or go home. It's not a series.
Save him to go home for the bus ride home?
I said it's win or go home. It's not a series.
No, I know, but save him for what?
But they do stuff like that. Somebody get 2 fouls and you see him all that time and you watch another team go on a run. Who cares if he gets the 3rd foul? If you let the other team go on an 18-2 run, the game is over. Who cares? Game is over either way.
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's a lot of questionable decisions. Whenever, like, same thing. Whenever you watch baseball, you're like, why? Dude, pitch the dude, man. Come on, man. There's no tomorrow, man. Go put all the chips in, man. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. But
What you like, Dre?
I submitted 2 brackets. I submitted 2 brackets. I had one bracket where Florida was winning, and then I had the other one where Houston was winning. So even though JQ's got me questioning myself over here, but I submitted 2 brackets. So there you go. I got one with Florida and one.
We don't want to hear about who's going
to
win. Don't say we got this and that. Who you picking?
I picked Florida. I got Florida. That's what I'm going with.
So sounds like we all are picking Florida.
And that means Florida definitely ain't gonna win now.
Which is scary. Which is really,
I just hope this isn't
really scary.
I tell you, in the women's tournament, I think whoever wins out of UConn and UCLA is gonna win it all.
Come on, man. You know UConn is winning this. Paige is when she saw Juju go down, she didn't want Juju to get hurt. But Paige has been through has been through a lot of UConn. She had her own injuries. If she wants to put her name in the record books in the Raptors with the Maya Moores and everybody else, she's got to win this tournament. It's there for her to win. South Carolina is not the same South Carolina team.
No, they're not.
Yes, UCLA has size, but listen, you saw Sarah Strong, that freshman for them? Oh my gosh, she went crazy on USC. So she's got a secondary option in Strong and Fudd. She has no reason. She has no reason to not win this tournament for UConn. Yeah. No, I've been watched a lot of the women's tournament.
Well,
that UConn team is a problem.
Yep. I like UConn and Texas in the championship game, and I agree. I'm picking UConn too.
Sarah Strong might be the next one in line in UConn.
But if UCLA finds a way to win, I think they win. I still think whoever wins the UConn-UCLA game wins it all, but I'm picking UConn too.
I'm picking UConn.
Yep. There it is. Good stuff. All right, shout out to our Carmelo, going to be part of the 2025 Hall of Fame.
Oh, well, shit, everybody makes the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Hey, get out of here, man.
They do.
Oh, man, Mo Williams not in the NBA Hall of Fame.
Seriously, Mo Williams?
You said everybody. Carlos Booth.
Not literally everybody, Rob. If you got a name and you play for 10 years, you're going to make the Hall of Fame in the NBA. It's not like
Dawkins?
Okay.
Carlos
See,
really?
we're not having a serious conversation at this point.
Rambus?
Oh no!
Really?
Byron
okay, let me qualify. Not everybody, but if you are a top 5 or top 10 pick, and you have any kind of success in the league, and you play for 10 years, you go into the NBA Hall of Fame. Like, come on.
So what are you trying to say? Carmelo doesn't deserve it?
He 100% deserves it, but I'm not going to jump up and down about it. We all knew Carmelo was going to the NBA Hall of Fame. That was just a formality.
He's definitely one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen, but the guy couldn't guard a statue, right?
Yeah, well, you didn't draft him to guard nobody.
You drafted him to score.
That was strictly to be a shooter and scorer. He was definitely one of the best
late
scorers.
in his career.
Yeah. Early, middle, late. You didn't turn on the film and say, man, I need Carmelo to get down in his stance today. No, you didn't. Not at all.
It's different, and I hear you. Thanks, Varsity, for the shout out. But you look at the trajectory that Carmelo had whenever he came in as a freshman at Syracuse and did his thing. You're like, this dude, fulfilled what he had, and he had a really good NBA career. Because some guys get, they were like hyped up, do their thing, and then they kind of disappear. Like, I give him credit for being consistent throughout his whole career. Obviously, he wasn't great at Denver, but other than that, he was all right.
He should be mad at two people and 2 people alone. He should be mad at Joe Dumars for Darko.
That's true.
Because if you give him that Pistons team, he probably gets a ring. And he should whoop George Karl's ass every time he's seen him for messing that up in Denver. He should whoop his ass every time he's seen him.
Yes. Yes.
That's true. That's true. That is true. That is true. Oh, well, fucking Braves.
All right.
We lost again.
I'm with Marcy. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. Good night. Have a great one. We appreciate you guys. Ohtani hits a freaking home run. Freaking Braves. All right.
Listen, you can't be that mad.
A lot of love.
You can't be that mad. That is a tough
I know.
start to the season. To start the Braves in California with San Diego and the Dodgers to start the season, it's a whole lot of motherfuckers that's gonna be over 6.
Yeah.
What happened to Rob? Rob just jump off. Rob mad. Rob mad. He like me. I'm out. Where did Rob go? Did Rob literally just jump off and I'm out? That had to be a mistake.
I think he did.
I didn't even like it was like his he missed his whole like sign off and everything like that, and Fresno and the Urban Loop festivals and whatever he's talking about.
Hey, listen, I do it for him. Let's go East Coast, Boston and New York Knicks. Can you do something about the Cavaliers and the Celtics? You're gonna make some hay here in the NBA playoffs. Call in and let us know what we're talking about, what we're not talking about. Hey, in the middle of the country, who going down to San Antonio to watch this Final Four? Who you got in the Final Four? Let us know. Everybody here talked about Florida, but who you got? Could it be Houston? Because they basically sitting at home, playing at home. Or you got Duke coming in there with Cooper Flag. So let's see. Oh, we got to go to California. Let's go, LA fans. What we going to do with James and Luca? Y'all going to win the title or not? Talking that junk. Call in and let us know. We got to talk about the Jackson of California, which is Sacramento. Or no, it's Fresno. Sorry, it's Fresno. Call in and let us know what y'all feel about it. We're going to holler at y'all. Your boy is going to be gone for 2 weeks. So I got some stuff to do personally, but I'll holler back at y'all at the end of April. Tune in to the show next week to my fellas. They're going to hold it down. I'll see y'all in a couple weeks. Good night. That's my best Robin.
Jerry, that was awesome. That was awesome, JQ. What you got? You got JQ, Gary?
Man, that was fantastic.
What does JQ say? What does JQ say? He says his little thing, right? You know what JQ says, right?
What's that?
Go Chargers.
Oh,
Let's just go Chargers.
I can't say it no more because they got that asshole as they coach, so I can no longer do that.
Hey, JQ, you have a great
stuff.
time.
All right. Hey,
appreciate you, bro.
Be safe.
Appreciate it.
Be safe. Hey, guys, it was a pleasure. We appreciate the show. We had a little off, but we had some fun. We missed you guys. Next week.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you soon.
Let's get Naj on there next week.
There you go.
I got to text him. I'll make it happen.
Bye, y'all.
Yep.